this, you know. My name's Liam. I am one of the host brothers here. I'm here with my good friend, Christopher Bow, Francisco Ramirez. Do you know what, guys? It's been a while. It's been about a month now at this stage. I've been really missing it. Head's not been in it, not been in the stock market at all, but you know what? I'm back and raring to go. Guys, how are we getting on today?
Yeah, great, man. Like I'm here. Not a lot of sleep last night, as you know, but we're having a good day. Very productive for me. Didn't do any trades, no buys and stuff. But yeah, just diving into what space nerd I will say will do. Just try to look for articles all day, pretty much, and sharing it with the people.
Chris,
Yeah,
how are
I'm
you?
I'm beat, man. I'm tired, dude. I got two of my good buddies that decided to message me at about 10:30 last night, and we were up till I don't know 1 or 2 in the morning, going back and forth. Uh, Big shout out before we get started to Johnny Mac. I love you, brother. I hate that you started this at like 10:30, but you dropped some brilliant info. We've got some awesome stuff to get into today, guys. I'm so excited. That's why we were up so late. Um, I'm not able to be outside today as I usually am, so you have to see my big dumb head. Sorry, it's not the typical river view I offer, but it is raining, so I'll be disappearing from time to time, but I'll still be on. You can hear me. But yeah, other than that, man, it's been a great week. I had a wonderful birthday again. Thanks to the live guys. That was a lot of fun. I don't remember most of it, but we actually hit on some of the things we're going to talk about tonight when it comes to INQ and possible, them collaborating with Rocket Lab and also space storage as far as energy storage in space. But before we get into all that, I just want to say welcome back, Liam. We have definitely missed you. Me and Francisco have done our best to try and keep up. We've all also been busy ourselves, but guys, we're getting right back to the daily. This is the first. It's Monday. Great way to start it off. Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's go.
Yeah, where you was going. We did had a few good ones, and what was it, Saturday night that we decided to go live, and Matt and Scotto, like
Oh, I was so
Wallace
good.
Vintage, they all jumped in, man. Yeah, and Matt was saying that if you were paying me under the table or something, because I've been
No,
running
we
like when
don't
you're not
disclose
here.
that.
Yeah,
Francisco,
we
I'm like,
stole
no,
Francisco. We've stolen
I was just,
Francisco away.
I told him it's nothing. I do it just for the love of the community, and I love Rocket Lab, man, and it's just exciting for me, so I'll do it for free.
no, big
Nobody's
shout out
paying
to
me.
you two. No, honestly, big shout
Yeah.
out to you two keeping this whole project going. Absolutely
We
love
had a
it.
lot of fun, man. We did have a lot of fun.
But I want to jump straight into Rocket Lab. So look, I'm looking over the last even 5 days. We're sitting quite flat. Today we did have a nice push up on opening bell. 44.97. Look, over the past month we are down 12%. Looking over the 6 months, it is 62%. Now, Francisco's one thing I wanted to ask you: are you in the same boat as me? Are you left holding the bag on Redwire?
Oh man, like I am. We got in, and but when we got in, we did say that. We talked in one of the lives, like, oh man, this thing is gonna go back to like 1920, or it can go straight down to 9.
Yeah.
And like whatever, it is what it is. Like I'm not too mad about it. Like I mean, I do have a lot of shares, as you know. I don't disclose the amount, but I got all the investments. I got my Kratos, they're doing well. I did sell some Tesla. I've been trading that one really good. But I got some really good companies, so I can't complain. And obviously I got Rocket Lab, which I have added Rocket Lab every time it goes down. I missed it the other day when it hit like 41 something. I'm like, oh man, I should have bought pre-market. But no, I've been adding some Rocket Lab. I'm happy. My portfolio is still around the same. So the red wire, I guess it was a hit, but I added so much Rocket Lab every time it went down to like 42 that it's pretty much like balance itself out.
Then Chris, did you keep adding into Redwire, or are you just sticking with Rocket Lab for now?
I did. I'm not selling. I didn't sell. I know a lot of people did, and I understand. Wasn't the best earnings. I get that, but I didn't see a reason to sell outside of management. Management kind of concerned me, but overall, everything else I saw, yeah, I did. I added a little bit. Not a lot because I just don't have the money for it, but I did not sell. I plan on holding. I do plan on adding more. Not financial advice, but overall, I think we're still early on Redwire. Nothing to get too concerned about. We're talking about a few dollars here and there. It shouldn't break the bank. I didn't get in big. I am looking forward to buying more though. Again, not financial advice. It's just something I'm seeing with the company that I really, really like going forward.
I think that what's gonna happen with that is like once we go into the fiscal year 2026 that starts in October 1st for that's DoD, like government here in the United States. Once they start like handing out contracts for Golden Dome, SD8 or whatever, I think Firefly should benefit from that. Not Firefly. I mean, obviously they will too. Like,
Did you say
I had something about them. I got them in my head because I got something to say about them later.
Yeah,
but,
I did too.
Redwire should benefit from that. I think, and everybody. I think all the space companies got hit because all these contracts got delayed. As you guys know, the SDA like director got kicked out. Like they put another one, an acting one. Even NASA has been dealing with that. Like and DoD, like the space. There's been a lot of changes since like Trump came in, and then obviously the Golden Dome like contract. So everybody's waiting on that. I think once they start handing out money for that stuff, all the space companies should be able to go up. So,
whoa, what we're gonna touch on just after this announcement, keep Redwire in your head, guys, because I really think Redwire and me and Francisco won't be holding no bag no more, I do think, do you know what? It was a little bit, I have my Redwire position, and there was quite a bit of trading going on. I was speaking to Francisco, and I was trying to earn a bit of money to keep adding to my Redwire position. And
we had the same strategy.
We got caught with our pants down, though. But no.
To make some money and put it back into Rocket Lab, but yeah, whatever.
But you know what it is? It's sort of turned into a long-term position. Do you ever get like that where you're like, do you know what? I've held it long enough now. I'll just leave it where it is. But no, I want to jump in. Rocket Lab have announced their 70th Electron mission, Live Laugh launch. We will be covering that live. It is with confidential customer though. It's for 5 satellites. It's due to take off at around 10:30 UTC. So that is what 9:30 for me here.
That for us here.
And yeah, it's confidential customer deploy 5 satellites to 655 kilometers circular Earth orbit. 70th Electron launch, guys. I think sometimes we forget how quick of a cadence we have had with Electron and how quick we are starting to ramp up. This is absolutely outgone on Falcon 9 at the rate we're going at. We get drawn into all the talk about Neutron, but look at what this baby is doing. And if we can follow anything along the same sort of sweep with Neutron, you can really see where this is going. How do you feel about this, guys? And have you any idea who it potentially could be? Will we get Tran on the case?
I know we got to get Tran. Yeah, I think obviously it's coming from somewhere in Asia. I think Japan, Korea, who knows? Like somewhere out there, I think is where it's coming from.
Japan, Rising Sun is Japan.
Yeah, I think it's a company out of there in Asia. Like one of the ones that Firefly's trying to take. That's what I'm thinking about Firefly today. They had an announcement, but yeah, I think it's coming out from Japan or South Korea or somewhere around there. Yeah, could be the Philippines, Vietnam, anywhere out there. All of them are trying to get into space, and they don't have a launcher.
Chris, any thoughts about this Electron launch 70th mission?
I gotta agree. I have to agree. Yeah, I do. I have to agree. I think it's going to be somewhere out of South Pacific. We're not geared up quite yet for France or the EU. We're getting close. So I agree with Francisco. I think we're going to see something out of Japan when it comes to this launch, as far as the confidential customer. Just it's speculation. I have no numbers, nothing to prove that. It's just a hunch. But hey, guys, give me credit. When we come up with hunches, those lead to conspiracy theories that I get a lot of crap for, and then months later we go, well, guess you guys are right after all, which is something I can't wait to discuss later when we get into the meat of why we're doing it live tonight. It's always fun to speculate. That's what we do here. We don't try and always, bring all the facts. We try and have fun with it. Investing should be fun. You should be investing in a company that you enjoy following and getting into the meat and deep diving into the company. Whether you love the CEO or you just love the product that they put out, we love them both. So yeah, that's a lot of what we do here. As you guys know, tonight is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the 70th. Again, Wallace came on a Saturday. He actually lives out there on the Eastern Shore. So the next time we get a launch from Wallops, guess what? We're going to have a live feed right here, directly here at the Hustle Brothers from Wallops, through Wallops Vantage. Whether it's a Haste or Electron, we're going to start doing that live. So we don't miss out on the Haste launches. We can always tap in and tune in to the Rocket Lab when they're doing Electron, but they don't always do a live for the Haste. Well, now we've got a guy, and he's going to hook us up. And so in the future, moving forward, right here, live on the Hustle Brothers, we will have a live feed at Wallops for those live launches. That's something I can't wait for. Thanks again, Wallops Vantage, man. You're awesome. All you guys, Saturday was a lot of fun. So much fun. I got so drunk. I got so drunk. And I still got up the next day, went to Richmond, helped my daughter get settled in her dorm. Congrats to her. She began her investing journey just this week. I'm not going to divulge, that kind of information as far as what she's investing in, because again, this channel is not for investing advice. It's to have fun with it and kind of look on the outside in, think outside the box. And I gotta believe tonight, we're gonna start putting together some pieces from all the things in the last few weeks that we've been thinking outside the box on. And we've got a little bit of slack for, but I think now we've come together and we're going to bring some proof and some real, again, some meat on the bones for you guys to chew on and go and do, as always, we encourage, do your own research. Do it for yourself. Give us some feedback. But before we get into that, I'm sure there's some things in the chats we probably are missing. I'd always love getting to the chats, hearing you guys' feedback. Want to give a special shout out really quick before we do to Sean, GY Kiwi. Bro, you've given me a lot of stuff to research. You've been right about a lot of stuff. So, got to give props to where it's due. You're the man. Love you. Thanks for everything. Thanks for joining in on the celebration. We'll do it again next year on the 50th. But yeah, if there's anything in the chats you guys can see, let's go there. Then we'll jump right in.
Yeah, first thing I want to say, last thing I say about the logo, guys, you want to grow on X, you can steal this from me now. I honestly do believe this is going to be a Japanese launch, and the reason why, Land of the Rising Sun, you have the sun in the background there, rising up in the early morning. There you go.
But also, think about it. Peter Beck was with them like last month, right? Wasn't last month?
Yeah.
Yep.
Which, if that says anything, Peter Beck has been all over Congress too.
Inspective. It was inspective.
Yeah, probably something like that. Yeah.
Well, no, that's who he was meeting with. I'm not saying that's who it is going to be. I'm just saying that he was meeting with inspective.
It could be.
So it would not be. It's not unreasonable to believe that could, that might be. And they've announced those launches in the past, but you never know. You never know what they're going to do. But I see more coming out of the South Pacific, as we've said before, especially with Haste. I see a lot more coming out of the South Pacific very soon.
Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump straight across to the comments. Guys, make sure to bang that subscribe button. Completely free. But it'll let you comment inside this chat here and stay the stream with us. GY Kiwi, hi all. Big shout out to you, Sean. Thank you for welcoming me back too. I seen that on X. Thank you, my guy. AJ's sold at 18 a while back. Lucky break. I think we're talking about Redwire there. And good job getting out. Then you loading back in, or what are you doing, my guy? GUI Kiwi says S&P has been very flat. Today had very low volume, so Rocket Lab done well. Rocket Lab setting up for the next push up. We shall see. AJ, lol. No, I haven't been here for a while, so I'm not gonna steal the limelight here. What I'm gonna do, the guys have been discussing something between themselves. Tying in, it was the missing puzzle piece to everything we spoke about, from space storage to quantum computing in space to space-based solar. They believe they found the missing piece. I've been, since I came back here a few hours ago, and I've been diving in to everything they can. So I will be trying to pick their brains on it and see what they can come up with. So guys, which one of you wants to take this away? Because whoever it is going to be famous.
or excited.
Or destroyed in the comments. We're going to be destroyed in the comments, or famous. I don't know. I want to say this before we get into it, just really quick. I want to say this. This is not something that we just looked up last night and said, hey, let's run with this. Not just Francisco and Johnny, as you guys know, we do a lot of research together, but Liam and I have been doing a few live streams, and we've touched on some of these things, and we were missing a few pieces, and a lot of it was the why. Why would they spend the money? Why would they do all this, and what are the advantages to it? And we were missing a huge piece. And I'm not going to steal any limelight from Francisco here, because as we all know, he is the quant. He does the research. But again, shout out to Johnny Mac. He sent us a brilliant paragraph or 5 last night, just again thinking outside the box. And he brought up the fact that there's an element called helium-3 that is needed here on Earth. It's very expensive here on Earth, but there's an abundance of it on the moon. And something I didn't know until I watched the video last night with the guys with the Sean Ryan show, China is already on the moon. They're on the dark side of the moon, and they are already mining this stuff. That's not speculation. That's not Chris's crazy conspiracy stuff. Them's the facts, bro. That is what's happening. That's why one of the reasons why the U.S. is spending a lot of money. We're not going up there just for space. We're not going up there just to put astronauts around the ISS. It's a lot bigger. And with anything, when it comes to capitalism, it's about the money. And there's a freaking crap ton of it up there. Blew my mind. Those simple words, helium-3, connected all kinds of dots. When it comes to quantum computing, when it comes to energy storage in space, usage, heavy industry, mining in space. And I did say mining, and I'm not talking 20 years from now. I'm talking years, few years. I mean, it's on the horizon. I'll leave it at that for the moment. I'll let Francisco take over, because he's got, as always, he has all the info. He's got all the links. If you guys aren't following Francisco and you're investing in his space stocks, you're missing out. The guy definitely knows his stuff. Loves some Francisco. Johnny Mac, the same. As always, thanks, guys. But yeah, we're gonna dive into that tonight. We're gonna put together some puzzle pieces, and we're gonna start looking forward to what the next steps are that Rocket Lab is looking into, above and beyond just Neutron. As always, the markets are focusing on Neutron, right? Neutron's going to launch. Well, then launches this year and next year, but we're so far beyond Neutron right now, it's not even funny.
I'm laughing at one of the comments that this guy said, and cheese. AJ. Yeah, we know the moon is full of cheese. Come on.
It's all cheese, man. It's all cheese. Tom and Jerry, right?
Yeah.
Tom and Jerry, or the old
Yeah,
Tom and Jerry cartoons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm old. I'm sorry. It's a reference. Liam is young. He probably doesn't even know Tom and Jerry.
Oh no, I used
But,
to love Tom and Jerry. You know.
Yeah. Tom
Oh,
and Jerry.
it's all cheese up there, bro. It's all cheese. Or we could say it's all cheddar. You know, it's all cheddar, which is money, and it's a lot of freaking money up there, guys. I was blown away. And as always, we're not going to hit it all tonight. We're just, this is going to be a deep dive. It's going to take a couple of days, but we like to get you guys thinking, get you guys, you know, that way you guys are feeding back to us. And, you know, we're a community. We help each other out. It's not just about us 3 or 4 or 5 when we have the other people on. It's to help everyone to be, you know, wiser, smarter, better investors. And also to find the fun side of it. Not only was this fun, but man, Yanni Mac, you're my boy. That was brilliant stuff, bro. Thanks for keeping me up until about 1 in the morning. It was worth it.
There we go, Francisco.
There
I think
we
you
go.
were trying to share your screen.
Oh yeah,
There we go.
I logged in and I automatically it logged
shared
into
my
the
screen.
to the Hustle Brothers. No, like I got access to the Hustle Brothers. Feels special. Now, so I wanted you to share like that that post. That post came from Johnny Mac. He sent it to me and he's like, "Hey, if you want, can you post this for me?" And I'm like, "Sure," because I guess he doesn't have a pay account. So when you don't have a pay account on X, you're limited to, I guess, how many words you can use. I'm like, "Hey, Johnny,
I know about that.
So I did it. So that was the interesting stuff that he sent to both Chris and I, and we were like looking at this, reading this stuff. And when I was reading about this, and I'm like, the moon, helium-3, I'm like, wait a second, I heard something about us. I heard something about it somewhere. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, wait, I watched the Sean Ryan show, and like they had a general in there, and he was talking about this stuff. And I'm like, let's dive into this video because I didn't watch it. I put it like on the notes to watch later, and I never got back to it. And then I sent it to Johnny and Chris, and we all started watching, and we're like, oh my god, this thing is like, that general was dropping bombs about like energy and like solar, like beaming energy down to Earth, and like how they can use it in space too, data centers. Like this dude was like spitting so much stuff that we've been talking about for months. Like what kind of like I guess space what is this space as a service like Rocket Lab provide, because we don't know what they're gonna do with the constellation. And right now, like we all trying to figure out what are they gonna do it. That's what we're trying to figure out, all this stuff. Like, oh, it could be solar energy, it could be like partnership with IonQ and do data centers. So we're trying to figure out what is the next big thing so we can be ahead of everybody. And like, oh man, he took us for a spin. And like Chris and I were like going crazy. And last night, if you haven't had a chance, like you can go to my channel. I'd share like a small clip of like the general right at the beginning, how he gave Rocket Lab so much credit. And oh, we dropped like Leon. He disappeared, huh?
No, I'm all here. My camera's
okay.
for some reason.
Oh yeah, what happened? So yeah, so no, this general was like, oh yeah, the next great idea can come from like even a small company. It doesn't really have to be what did I do? It doesn't have to be by by a big country. It can come from a small country like New Zealand and Rocket Lab. And I'm like, oh my God, this general just dropped New Zealand and Rocket Lab as the country that can take over the world. I'm like, that's just wild to me. And then he went over and like Sean Ryan is like, what's Rocket Lab? And he's like, oh, Rocket Lab is like this small company out of New Zealand that does the same thing that SpaceX and Elon Musk is doing. They're sending rockets up in space and reusing them. Like, oh man, he gave so much credit to Rocket Lab. And what I was trying to tell people is like, this general came from the Air Force. He was a commander out in San Antonio, which is the Air Force military training. That's where you go to basic training. And I think he was part of the Air Force research lab. He was part of the group that was doing contracts and like trying to figure out how we can use space for transportation. Which, guess what? The transportation gave a contract to Rocket Lab before they started working on Neutron. So they probably gave them some funding to work on Neutron. And the Air Force, as everybody knows, the Space Force now, like they gave money to Rocket Lab so they can use for Neutron second stage. So I mean, this general knows what he's talking about. And like for him dropping bombs like that, I'm like, oh man, he knows what he's talking about. He knows Rocket Lab. That actually made me feel good. I'm like, DOD knows about Rocket Lab, because sometimes we think that a lot of people just don't know about it. And I think the name is getting out there now more and more. And it's good that he knows, because he definitely has some good connections, and he's definitely like works on some very interesting programs.
He mentioned, we talked about the possibility of using solar and storing energy in, let's say, one of the photon buses, and directly beaming it back down to Earth or to the moon. And he mentioned Rocket Lab specifically. He also has his own company, and they're doing something very similar. Again, this is not something that's far outside the box, crazy thinking that I normally do. This is actually happening. You don't gotta believe me. Don't believe me. Do your own research, but it's freaking happening. That's what they're doing. And again, it blew our mind because we were speculating, kind of guessing on what the possibilities were outside of just the constellations. But there's going to be mining. There's going to be China's already up there. China's already doing it. That was news to me. I think it's news to everyone.
But they're starting, like, yeah, they have a few. China's been sending probes to the dark side of the moon, and they're ahead of us in a way where they're like sending some stuff back. For what he was saying, that's what it sounds like. They're sending small samples back. So we are kind of on that. So we need to get somebody like that. But the word that I like that the general used is the same words that Peter Beck used. They're like, the next big idea hasn't been thought of yet. So what's the big idea of space? And I'm like, oh man, Peter Beck. I think, in my opinion, I give him a lot of credit. I think the guy's a genius, and like the general kind of like thinks the same thing, I guess. And that's what we're trying to figure out, the next big idea. So we are ahead of the game. And like, I don't know, if we figure that out before everybody else, man, I will sell everything in my house and put it on Rocket Lab.
He spoke about the advantages of building in space. Setting up and building bigger satellites in space, because if we can build pharmaceuticals in space, we can build anything in space. Pharmaceuticals is one of the most delicate things in the world to construct. A lot easier than building a computer. A lot less technical. I'm no expert, but somebody can fact check me on that. He was talking about quantum computing in space. Again, energy storage in space. Mining the helium-3. If you guys have not already Googled and looked into helium-3, jump off here, go look at it. It's going to blow your mind. That was the missing piece. That's what Johnny Mac brought up. Thanks again, Johnny, for that, because it got me thinking, got Francisco thinking, and that is the missing piece. That's the why. Again, you got to have funding, you got to have money. He talked about the efficiency, the greater efficiency of having energy stored in space and sent directly back down to Earth. Maybe not via laser. We have an answer for that. We'll get into that in a few minutes. Francisco's got a great answer for that as well. But it does tie into data centers. Directly ties into data centers. They're building a crap ton of data centers right here in Virginia. Why? Again, I'm always going to say, ask the question why before you get too excited and start buying something. Why are they doing it in the first place? Is there something backing it? When you look into the helium-3 in comparison to how we use energy here on Earth, and how we're going to use energy in space and transfer it down, it would be more cost effective. It will use less heat. It will generate a lot more energy for a lot less energy use in comparison. And it's kind of a no-brainer. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, wow, we should have been doing this a long time ago. It could be the answer to our future energy needs and issues when it comes to, everybody thinks the world's overpopulated, which it's not, but there's a huge demand for energy, especially when it comes to quantum computing. We can do it more efficient. We can do it cheaper if we do it in space. Same with heavy
Yeah.
energy.
He mentioned how President Xi is really going after it, because he said that right now we in a kind of like a tech war, like between China and the United States, and how Xi wants to win that, because whoever wins this war is going to be the leader of the world, and kind of makes sense. So the helium-3 China's trying to get, according to him, it's like you can use this to use it for quantum computer and cooling them off better, and like so yeah, whoever gets there first and gets to quantum computer first is going to be the leader of the world for the next 50 said to 150 years. So it is a race
For the
Yeah.
whole entire future.
Yeah.
Sorry, Liam, go ahead, buddy.
No, you're fine. So I want to circle back a little bit for any of the guys that don't know what helium-3 is. So helium-3 is one of the main fuel sources the sun basically uses for it's nuclear fusion, isn't it? So helium-3 has 2 protons, 1 neutron, and then 1 other neutron will be coming to the moon to pick it up. Whereas helium-4 has 2 protons, 2 neutrons. Now, the nice thing about helium-3, it is extremely rare on Earth, and the reason why it is a lot more abundant on the moon is it travels through solar wind. It's coming directly from the sun, travels through the solar wind, and the moon has no atmosphere, so it settles down there on the soil. Now, I've been doing a bit of diving into this, and around 20 parts per billion in the moon's soil. So it's still ultra dilute. Now, then I was looking at the valuations of how much would the likes of helium-3 be worth down here on Earth. And it's in the ballpark range of anything between 10 to 15 billion per ton. And then I was looking at, right, if Neutron had to go up there and pick it up and bring it back down, how much of a payload could Neutron have? Now, to translunar orbit, it can have a 2-ton payload. Now, how hard is it to farm or mine a ton of helium-3? That is the next.
That's a great question.
That
I
is
feel like
the project
feel-
is insane.
And
Maybe,
Liam, give them the. All right, so this is going to blow your minds, guys. All right, so from what you were just saying, Liam, 2 tons brought back to Earth. As far as energy storage, what is the profit margin, or what does the numbers look like when it comes to that type of value based on what current value is? And of course, it's going to change over time, but just give us some raw numbers. I know you gave them to me, but let's give it to them live now and freak them out.
Yeah, so the actual payload alone, if it's 2 tons, you're thinking around 20 to 30 billion of a payload coming back. Now, profit margins, it'd be very hard to work out, just because I don't think this can be a one company thing. I don't think Rocket Lab has the capacity to go down there, build all the infrastructure, mine it themselves, and then bring it back. That'd be a multi-billion-dollar project in itself. But that's where the likes of your red wires come in. You need your funding from your US government.
Oh no, yeah. I think I
DARPA.
sent you a link. And NASA actually
DARPA.
put something
Yep.
about
NASA.
about that they're seeking. See if you can pull it up. Oh, I actually can pull it up. Never mind.
I'm having
Forgot I
trouble
got
with my
access.
camera again at the moment, guys.
Let
And
me
he
pull
did
that up.
say
real quick.
billion. He did say billion with a B, guys. He didn't say million. He said billion with a B. That's per payload. Holy crap!
But
That's a lot of cheddar. That's a lot of cheddar on
NASA-
that moon, buddy. It's a lot of cheddar.
But look at this. NASA just posted this today, I guess, August 18. Yeah, this came out today. The NASA is asking for input on a system capable of producing at least 100 kilowatts of electricity weighing less than 50 metric tons, and using a closed Brayton cycle power conversion system. So NASA is definitely interested in now in going to the moon and using it for this stuff. So I'm sure they're looking at it. So we can get some money from the government, and I mean they could pay anybody. Hopefully they pay Rocket Lab and some other companies that we like.
Well, look at it like this: they're going to need energy before they can mine. They're going to need energy, you know, on the moon to power all kinds of things. Everything is got. We're not going up there and building electric stations up there, people. That's not going to happen. And electric stations are limited. It's linear. It's not, where you have like the ability now with ASTS coming out. They put up a handful of satellites, and you can get 5G. And the bottom of the Grand Canyon. The guy said it last night, on or not last night, but on the Sean Ryan show when they posted that. I'm stealing his words. Give him all the credit in the world. It's not my idea. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a freaking fact. You're not going to need all these energy stations, which are big and ugly and bulky, and or they produce a lot of waste, and they take a lot just to give us a little bit back. We can produce it a lot better, a lot more efficiently, and long term a lot less expensive. So not only are we going to need that, we want that energy here for the Earth, but we're going to need that when we're mining on the moon, when we colonize Mars, and we go further into space. So that's where I believe the solar energy storage is going to come into play, and that's going to help feed what we're going to do more in the future when it comes to mining the helium-3 and getting it back down to Earth, where we can basically take all of our heavy industry production and put it out in space where we don't see these big bulky power stations, and we don't have all this ugly infrastructure. It can all be done in space where we don't, the naked eye can't see it. We don't care. It's up there somewhere in the heavens, floating around.
Right.
But again, this is not a crazy conspiracy theory. This is not crazy, Chris. This is stuff that's actually freaking happening. Like Francisco said, NASA's already getting into it. China's already getting into it. A lot of other people are already getting into it. There's a reason why we're trying to get, we're trying so hard to get back to the moon. We've been looking for the whole why. Why are we going to the moon anyway when there's so much other out there? We've already been to the moon. It's just supposed to be just a big rock, right? Well, no, there's a lot of money up there. A whole lot of money. And you're right. It's probably not going to be all Rocket Lab. It's going to take, just like the Golden Dome, it's going to take a collaboration of multiple different companies assisting and helping out, or taking little bits and pieces of it. But Rocket Lab is setting themselves up brilliantly, thanks to the brilliant mind of Peter Beck. Acquisitions like Mineric, like Solera, the build out of the amazing Photon, and their amazing buses, which we already know they do have a bus that can store energy. Not a lot, but it can be modified to be basically a Tesla Powerwall in space, if you will. If that makes more sense to you guys out there. You hit it right on the head, man. You hit it right on the head, Francisco. This is just the beginning, and all these pieces are starting to come into play of, why are they, what's the big need for these acquisitions? Where's the money going to come from? Why are they putting the money into it? What are they going to get back out of it? It's all about money in the end, but luckily it involves space, and we're all space nerds and geeks, and it's just going to help propel a company like Rocket Lab to do a lot more above and beyond that. And Liam gave you a few basic numbers, and yeah, we're going to be off on the numbers, but if we're just a fraction of that number is correct, that's a lot of revenue. That's a crap ton of revenue coming from a very small, just a portion of the space sector.
Through that NASA Lunar Mars fission power plant system there, that is quite an exciting read, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. This news just came out today. Yeah, what you just said. I just share it with everybody, and I send it to you guys. But if you scroll down, I'm gonna scroll down for you guys. Look at the bottom, and what are they looking for? So they're looking pretty much for bids, I guess, from companies to give them, like, I guess, to tell them if they can do this. But look at this: how can industry participate in this NASA effort? Companies are invited to respond to a request for information to provide feedback on end-to-end services capabilities. which may include development, testing, transportation, launch, landing, deployment, and sustained operations of the system. Respondents can also indicate interest in performing specific portions of the project. So I'm about to email Rocket Lab. I'm sure they know. I'm like, bro, you guys on this because you guys better be bidding for this stuff. That looks like a lot of money. That looks and sounds like a lot of money to me. What do you guys think?
That's a lot of man. That's a lot of money. That's Liam. You've been missing out, bro. Look what you did. You took some time off, and you forced me and Francisco to do what we do, and hopefully we've impressed you just a little bit with our research, my friend. And it goes back to a lot of the recent lives we've done. We've been right. We've been off a little bit because we didn't have some of these missing puzzle pieces that again Yanni provided for us. But again, if we're just a fraction of just a small percentage of this, if we're right, that's a lot of money.
But what we're
That
not
sounds
thinking
like a lot
about
of money.
now as well is, yeah. So now when people dive into the likes of this, they're forgetting about how big the project of the Golden Dome is. So we have the likes of the Golden Dome happening. We have the likes of these helium-free project, we believe, going to be happening. We've spoken about having the likes of telecommunications orbiters all across the solar system. We're talking about space exploration being pushed out to the extreme. Like with these, the propulsion ability, if you can harvest the likes of helium-3, will be generational. I just, the whole project, like, it just makes me want to sell the house and just bank it on Rocket Lab and just
That's what I'm
hope
saying.
the best, you know.
Just
hope.
don't
Yeah,
put it
not
on,
financial
don't put it
advice.
on red wire.
Not financial advice. Not financial advice.
It's getting close to being financial advice, not gonna lie.
It really
you know?
is, though. It really is, though. I mean, look, we nailed it with haste. Again, we did over a year of research, guys. This is not something we just dreamed up last night, and it's not all of our info. We're taking pieces from all of you guys in the comments, from people on X, the Sean Ryan show, and again the research we do ourselves, and we do it for months and months and months. How long have we been looking into the likes of a collaboration with an IonQ and a Rocket Lab and the advantages of quantum computing in space? Months, and we take a lot of slack from some of you guys.
Chris, I'll tell you what, that and Liam, Rocket Lab is definitely gonna try to do this one. I mean, we had that video that Rocket Lab in the last launch. They shared that the Asian lady, she was like, "We're going to the moon and we're going to Mars." So they're all over this one. They're gonna go ahead and submit like whatever part they can do on this effort. And I think that sounds like a kind of like a Golden Dome kind of deal. What do you guys think? That I don't think that's gonna be cheap. I mean,
that's what Liam just said.
That they look at. It is crazy.
That's what Liam just said. It ties right into the Golden Dome. This is freaking brilliant. Are you guys in the comments? Are you guys picking this stuff up? Are you picking up what we're putting down? I mean, you guys think we're crazy? I don't think we're crazy. I think we've unlocked some amazing info that we've all been looking over. It's been right in our face. It has. It's been right in our face. We actually felt kind of bad last night. We're like, how did we not see this months ago? We've been doing the research, but again, it's always that one little bit, small piece of information, and that's why it takes a community. It's not just me or Liam or Francisco, Yanni Mac. It's the Maddies. It's Jacobs. Where's Waldo? Jacob, wherever you're at today, buddy. Hope you're traveling safe. Hope you're great. But it's all guys like that, man. Thank you all. But it takes a team effort, and I think we've already been celebrating a lot because of where Rocket Lab is now. But I think we are still very, very early on this stock. Very early.
We're just early on space. I think some people have already talked about that. Like that, we're so early in space. The space is gonna. I think space can make millionaires. Like out of a lot of people. It's just gonna be crazy because we're early.
I hope so. I really do because I want to build my business out. You guys need to buy some more freaking water features so Chris isn't pouring no more. So yeah, that's financial advice right there. I'll give you that financial advice.
I want to jump straight across to the comments again. So this is one guy I really want to speak to again very, very soon.
Let's go.
What's up, guys? And Space Ghost says new confidential customer mystery. AJ says he knows something. Space Ghost says seems like it'd be EchoStar, except it's listed for 5 satellites. He's been digging for an hour or two, but not sure yet. All the language seems it'd be the second EchoStar launch, but said it's for 5 satellites in the press release. That doesn't make sense for EchoStar. It should just be 1, and the purple mission patch and 5 small satellites makes me think it's Lacuna IoT. Tran theorized in EchoStar Lyra plus 4 small CubeSats, but who knows?
Oh, he did. He did. That actually makes sense.
Almost right last time. I need to actually
EchoStar.
I need to reach out to Tran and see what he is thinking. GY Kiwi says, as long as we beat Firefly getting to the H3, the planned satellite.
He's making fun of us, which means Firefly.
Yeah, I love GY Kiwi. That's my boy.
AJ says Firefly already has an MOU with the moon for H3.
I think he's joking, right? He's joking around.
Yeah.
But who knows, man? Yeah, I mean,
thanks, AJ.
We have that news from Firefly. The Firefly is trying to get in with Japan and like build another pad out there or whatever, launch out of Japan. I'm like, man, these people, they want to go to Sweden, they want to go to like Japan, they want to go everywhere, but their rockets are not taking off. I'm like, what the heck?
That's
Where's
because
Alpha?
they're watching.
They're watching our live stream. Alpha. No,
bro, they're
like,
watching our live stream and they're going, how do we get ahead of Rocket Lab? I know. Follow the Hustle Brothers and come up with crazy conspiracy theories and try and beat them to it. Because
I know you like Firefly, but I mean, I gotta give me heat, bro. Like the last launch was a failure. Before that, the launch before that was like last year, and I'm like, bro, your cadence is not improving. It hasn't improved in the past 3-4 years. You have multiple failures, like 4 out of 6. And I'm like, well, you guys are gonna get. I just posted something on it. So like, what's gonna come first? The 7 launch of Alpha or the 7 announcement of a new pad for Firefly? They're announcing more pads than like freaking launches. It's fucking nuts.
That's true. That is funny. That is funny. Hey, I just saw Vaccine C. He jumped in. Thanks for jumping in, bro. What is he saying?
So Vaccine C says trying to catch up with 1.5 speed. Liam coming back on the scene with a fresh fade. Do you like it, brother? Do you know what? Got rid of the blue hair, but I'm a little bit like a Malteser right now. And fresher perspectives. AJ, they can make a bigger bus for Neutron, and Francisco jumped in and says he agrees.
Yes, they can, bro. Yes, they can. Brilliant.
Vaccine C says, if you've ever seen the movie Moon with Sam Rockwell, that's what he's mining on the moon. H3, amazing movie. I won't spoil anything. I actually need to watch that, because not gonna lie, I never proper thought about the amount of H3 on the moon until you all started. You were like piranhas. You were like horses at the bit when you dived into this. Conservative Millennial says, hey, what's up all? Good to hear from you. Big shout out, Conservative Millennial. Nice to see you.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
AJ says, sounds good to me. Mars sample return can be H3 sample return mission. Do you know what? It's also really abundant on Mars as well. And the reason is Mars doesn't have a great atmosphere. So
the general touched up on that. He said that the reason that we don't have a lot on planet Earth is because of the atmosphere, like whether
the atmosphere
and Mars, they don't have the atmosphere like that. So yeah, they can have more helium-3, I guess.
But guess who does have a lot of H3 as well? The gas giants. Yeah, so you have the likes of your Saturns and your Jupiters and your Uranuses,
Oh, yeah,
they
of
have
course.
moons. And again, you can go to their moons, make your bases, you can collect your H3 and come back. Do you know what?
Yeah.
It's so much bigger than just the moon alone. If they can prove the concept on the moon, it wouldn't surprise me if we have factories all over the solar system.
Beck mentioned Titan months or not years ago. Titan is probably prime with that stuff, man. It's probably just oozing out of Titan. That'd be a perfect location.
But I mean, spaces is gonna get crazy, I think, because we're gonna have like now there's multiple people now that are talking about a space solar power beaming into the planet, and like DARPA has tested that already, and it worked. And I mean, we're hearing generals, we're hearing companies now they're coming up with that stuff. There was an interview last year or 2 years ago that somebody asked Peter Beck something about that, and he briefly mentioned solar power that could be something good. But it was I can't remember the interview, but he briefly mentioned it, and I'm like, oh damn it! I've watched so many interviews, I can't go to like hundreds of hours of interviews. But he said that solar could be something. But he keeps saying that the next idea it hasn't been thought of yet, which he might have an idea already, but he keeps his cards on the chest. He's not going to mention it. So I know if Rocket Lab, here's the trick: if Rocket Lab's working on data centers or space solar like power, like an energy company, he's not going to say it because he's not going to put his cards. Look what happened. I think there's another news that came out. I don't know if you guys saw it. Look what happened with Blue Origin. They just posted that stuff like they I guess they want to go to Mars and do the communication stuff too. I'm like, oh wait a second. They put out a video and everything. I'm like, oh, that sounds very familiar. Like, who's doing that? But that got me very upset because like they were mentioning like the Escapade mission and kind of like taking credit for it. Like they don't mention really Rocket Lab in a lot of the articles that came out. And like how Blue Origin is like taking like I guess taking the first step into the communications for Mars. It was just weird to me that they kind of like did the same exact thing that the Rocket Lab has been saying for like a year now. That's what you get when you say what you're gonna do. So I think Peter Beck doesn't want to say what we're doing.
It makes sense. Beck, like you said, he keeps a lot of stuff very close to the chest.
Like, as he has to.
He does. He has to. What did you say last night? We have to be careful. I think we know too much. Secret Service might start knocking on our door because, we're discovering things before they're announced. I'm just gonna say it like I just did, and I'm gonna be honest about it. We are. Not because we're better than anybody else. We just put in hours and hours of research. Again, guys, we were up to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning last night. Very excited. We love what we do. We love, being able to bring this kind of information to you guys. And we're okay if we're wrong, but that's what we have the community for. It's not just about one person. It's about a group effort. But we did post some stuff last night, and Francisco posted some things, and the amount of bookmarks and about a repost. And normally we get a lot of negative kind of feedback on posts like that. It was all positive, and you guys were running with it. I was getting some stuff like GY Kiwi again. Thanks, bro. You sent me some great stuff. As most of you, a lot of you guys in there do. I don't want to leave anybody out. It's just too many to remember. But again, whether you're in the chats or you're here live with us, we don't do it alone. And this is something that, again, this is happening. It's not a matter of if, it's just when, and how much of this is Rocket Lab going to pick up and utilize. And again, you look back into recent acquisitions and how they're building their company as far as their space system side moving forward, things are just lining up perfectly. Maybe we're crazy.
Chris, think about this. We did that. Rocket Lab did the capstone mission. Now that's not a Rocket Lab didn't do the satellite. It was I forgot the university that did, but they with a photon they flew the satellite and put it in a different orbit around the moon, right? So the halo orbit, whatever. I have it here back here somewhere. But that's already data that we have. We can put stuff on orbit around the moon, and that's for potential future space station. Now you got a Firefly that we actually did all that navigation and guidance, all that stuff, and the power for the Firefly Blue Ghost, all data that Rocket Lab accumulated. Now you're gonna add this mission that Blue Origin is about to do, that is gonna take the twins over to Mars, and guess what we're doing? Collecting data, and all that data is gonna be huge, and it's gonna play it out when it comes to what NASA is requesting now inputs on, like for the bits for all that stuff. There's gonna be billions. That I can tell you right now. That's gonna be billions. They're looking for everything, like launches,
Billions.
landings, everything. So all that data that we're getting around the moon and around Mars, that's gonna play it out to Rocket Lab's advantage to put the communication system or maybe landing in the moon and Mars. It's gonna
Information is power, bro. Information is power. And if we're the first ones gathering this information, why are they going to go anywhere else? They're going to go right back to Rocket Lab and go, hey, you were successful with this. You have all the info. Rocket Lab's just not just going to just freely give that away. They're not just going to go, hey, here, world, here's all this data we collected for free. Now take advantage of it. No, they're going to use that to their advantage and get more contracts based on it because they're the first ones up there, the first ones doing it. And that orbit around the moon, we all thought, what would maybe more ISS and space. No, that is not what they're doing. They're not. They're looking at putting bases on the moon and other planets and other moons, and they're going to start mining, and they're going to make money off of it. They're here to capitalize. They're not here for science. Sorry, but the U.S. government, China, they're not going to spend billions and billions of dollars just to go up there and test a few rocks and go, ooh, look, pretty rock. No, they're going to go, how can we make money off this? And well, there's a lot of money up there, and that's a lot of the reason that's driving this. And you start putting those dots together, and again, why was Rocket Lab getting these DARPA contracts early, this SDA contracts early? They're ahead of us. They're always ahead. We always say Beck is 10 steps ahead of us. The guy might be about 15 or 20 steps ahead now. I mean, he's not slowing down. I think we're a little behind the 8 ball. Even with all this information, all this stuff we're putting out tonight, I know it comes as, you guys are crazy. Go ahead, look it up. Yeah, we're crazy. We are crazy as a freaking fox. Thanks, Yanni. There's a lot more behind this. We're not going to cover it all tonight. We're going to try to cover a lot of it, but I think there's a lot more to dive into. Again, Space Ghost, thanks for joining in, man. We've got to get you back on, and I do hope you take some of this and run with it. You're great at numbers. You're also good at telling me when I'm wrong in the nicest way, so please feel welcome. But I think you're going to enjoy this one. I think you guys are really going to enjoy looking into the potential. Again, if we're just a fraction, a couple percentage points right on this, that's a ton of money, way more than we were thinking originally.
Yeah. I mean, Mars, I shared the Mars one, like the Blue Origin, pretty much did a video, pretty much copy and pasted and added their satellites of like what Rocket Lab was offering to NASA, like with their comps for Mars. But the interesting thing is that, again, Blue Origin, New Glenn is going to take the twins over to Mars, but all that data is going to be all Rocket Lab, and we're going to have that advantage. And guess what? Rocket Lab has the terminals from Mynaric, the laser terminals. There's going to be huge, because to send all that information with lasers over to Earth, it's going to be a lot faster. You can send a lot more information. You can send better pixels in the images, like kind of like 4K. It's just a lot better. So I think we are going to have an advantage with the Mars communications. That's like the only competition I see still is it will be SpaceX.
Yeah,
I think Rocket Lab is honestly second place to SpaceX, and it's a far second place, because I gotta be honest, like SpaceX is so far ahead in first place. It's just crazy.
Then GY Kiwi says a company, Interlude, is planning an excavator designed for H3 on the moon. Have you heard that, guys?
What?
GY, can you send me a link to that, bro? Because I will get super nerdy about that. Thanks, brother.
Then Randall has said, hey guys, enjoying the moment with you. Rocket Lab share price should help with acquisitions. which I think would be key to Rocket Lab leaning into these opportunities. What do you say? Do you need a capital raise at the moment? Are you happy what we're at? Next leg up, it wouldn't upset me if we got a capital raise.
It wouldn't upset me either. This is what upsets me. This is what I'll tell you this when it comes to stock price as far as Rocket Lab. And you guys know I hate the numbers, but I will say this. And Francisco did say correctly. I do like Firefly, but Firefly's current valuation is a bunch of bullshit. There's no reason Firefly should be at a cost basis of $50+. They've done a fraction of what Rocket Lab is already doing. They only begin to wish they can execute the way Rocket Lab does. We're looking at going on 70 successful Electron launches. Firefly's got what, 1.5? Why is it at $50 freaking? It makes absolute. That's why I say they're freaking analysts. They're not analysts. They're analysts. They're a bunch of dorks. They're a bunch of jerks. They're going off of what Wall Street mommy and daddy tell them to post and put up in print, and they're all wrong. They've been wrong. They're going to continue to be wrong, and I can prove it. We can go back and look at our last couple of videos, our last few months, and we've proven them wrong every single freaking time, and we're going to be right again. Firefly does not belong at $50+ freaking. At best, it's mid-20s. At absolute best. If you're asking me as an investor, I like Firefly. I'm not gonna lie, but I like them at 20 or below. At this price, I would never ever. Like I said, I got a daughter. She's investing. My son invests. If they ask me, do I buy Firefly? No, you don't. That's a bad investment right now because they are not executing at the clip, at the rate, and at the success that Rocket Lab is, and they don't have the potential for the future. Like Francisco said, they're announcing we're going to launch from all these spots, but we can't launch because they can't launch. Not like Rocket Lab.
Right now, as it stands right now, Firefly is grounded. Like they are grounded by the FAA. They have to.
So why is it at 50?
They have to provide.
Why is it at 50?
Because they never mention alpha. This is the craziest thing. They mentioned like the CEO went on TV and they mentioned like, oh yeah, we like one of what did he said? Like they're the best like small launchers. I'm like, no, bro, you fell, and you fell the last one, and we haven't heard like what was the problem and how are you fixing it. And like in what was it, 2 months after the last failure of Rocket Lab, they right away they said what the problem was. And then they show on a PowerPoint step by step how they fixed the problem. We haven't heard from Firefly. I'm like, I'm sorry. And they're a public company. If I had shares, I would want the CEO to do that. I'm like, you got to be more transparent with me and tell me how you're fixing the problem. But they haven't.
Exactly.
Like, the cadence hasn't improved. I'm like, I can't put money on that. That's crazy.
No, they can barely launch. Their space systems is nothing. Again, I like Firefly, but I got no problem. If the CEO of Firefly was on right now, I would not change my tune. I would not change my attitude. I would say the exact same thing. What was the problem? Like Francisco said, how in the world do you evaluate your company at this price? And why are you trying so hard to get into so many different countries when you can't launch out of this country? Focus on what you do best. They do some things great. That's why I like them. And they're going to be at Wallops. They're going to be at Wallops, and I'm a local, so but it's still, I know what you're saying, bro. I get it. And I don't want to go off too bad on a rant and put, Firefly down, but it's frustrating when you see a stock price at 50 plus, and they've done a fraction of what Rocket Lab is achieving. But
that's the problem.
If anything, you take it as a gift. Take it as a gift because taking the information that we know, we're still so early on this company. In 5 years, many of us can look back and see it at 43, 47 and go, man, it felt like I was buying it at 4 because we're at
what's crazy?
Whatever.
Here's what's crazy. They came out with that news this morning that they're going to Japan or doing a partnership to launch out of Japan, and their freaking stock goes up. I'm like, bro, are these people not aware that the freaking alpha is grounded? Still, they only launched like 6 rockets. 4 out of them has been failures. Like, come on, it is crazy to me. And like, I can't trust them. And I don't hate the company. I wish they'll be doing better by now. Like, I would invest if it was a good company. I just can't stand
It's the
it,
stupid
man.
stock
Yeah,
market, man. It's Wall Street.
yeah.
It's the analysts that get paid six figures a year to make bad judgment calls. I can do any of their jobs. I don't care. Hey, if you're a stock analyst and you get paid six figures, hit me up. I guarantee you, I can make better calls than you are. Go ahead, hit me in the DMs right now. I'll destroy you. You guys are a bunch of freaking overpaid idiots. I'll say it 1,000 times over. If you're not Tom Lee or one of a few people that we actually respect, shut up. You're wrong, and we're sick of it. I'll just say it right out loud. You guys are overpaid. You're wrong all the time. That's why I love you guys, because you bring it. If you think that you're going to be wrong about something, you say it right up front. If you get information from someone else, you give credit to that person. You don't say, "Hey, look what I found," and post it on X. And I think this stock is going to go here. I can't stand that. I'm a blue collar guy. I work my butt off for a small amount of money. So I want people to work for their money and work for their respect. Can't respect them. I love you guys. Respect you guys. The guys in the comments, the chats. Even you guys come hard at me in the chats and the comments. I love it. Makes you a better person. But yeah, I would not want to be someone that is holding a big bag of Firefly right now, because it doesn't look good for the future. Not at these prices.
Let me actually bring up a comment here, because this is definitely winning comment of the day again. Vasi and C with another banger. So you're saying there's a massive stockpile of H3 hidden in Uranus. AJ, knock on wood. I consider Neutron a given. Now I want to know what they're really cooking. Neutron is just a play. Yepa says, Matt Gajalik, CEO of Astroforge, says China is not mining helium-3 on the moon. It's on episode 226.
Yeah, I was going to show that. He's talking about the episode because I think last week, Matt Gilich, I'm ruining his last name. I don't know how to pronounce that. Gilich. He was on the Sean Ryan show too, and like I watched a little bit of the episode. I gotta watch the whole thing, but he was on Sean Ryan, and I guess he mentioned that. I do have to watch it because like the guy, he seems like a great CEO, and he seems like he's doing something very interesting with it. Astroforge, they're doing mining. They're mining in space, and I found them because like I think Trans posted a picture of a satellite at one point talking about that, and I noticed like zooming in that the satellite actually had Rocket Lab's like reaction wheels. I'm like, wait a second, now those some Rocket Lab reaction wheels, and the CEO Matt actually replied to me. So the Astroforge, and I've been following them now, and sometimes they do like some of my comments. So I do have to like figure that one out. I did send them a message now asking them if they are planning on mining helium-3 on the moon. So let's see if they reply to me. Let's see. So we might have some news here.
And then AJ says they're running high on the moon landing. AJ also says most of the share flow is locked until February. Guys, do bang the like button, actually. It'll help us grow this Hustle Brother Rocket Lab brand. Look, the more of you that like, the more of you that subscribe, the more people we get pushed out to. The more great minds we can get in there, the more things like helium-3 we can bring to you.
Yeah. Now, but yeah, we had that. I have to rewatch the whole episode. Like the general was really good about talking about transportation, like we said, about energy with solars, which we cover here. So I think that was just a vote of confidence of what we've been researching, like that we are on the right path, on the right track of like trying to figure out what maybe could be a big potential for us, constellation or moneymaker for Rocket Lab. And I think we might be onto something here. I mean, not even for Rocket Lab, but for the whole space as a whole. So mostly everybody will benefit from this, I think.
Well, for humanity as a whole. I mean, if we can get more efficient, cheaper, cleaner energy, then the whole concern over, whether you believe in climate change or not, I'm not going to judge that, but, overuse of oil and overuse of fossil fuels, if we can mine fuels in space and send that energy right back down here, that's going to solve those problems overnight, literally overnight. I know it sounds crazy, but hey, man, watch the video and don't just watch the first 10 or 15 minutes. Watch that thing all the way through. I've watched it twice now. I'm going to watch it again. And every time I watch it, I'm finding a little more tidbits. And again, it's not something that they're dreaming about in 20 years. This is something that they are already working on. So where does Rocket Lab or Redwire or SpaceX or wherever you're investing in or you're looking into, how does that fall in line, or what are they looking at as far as how they're going to profit off of this? Because again, it's all about making money, guys, right? It's all about making money. You can't just launch rockets for free. It costs money. As fun as it is, we want that. We want those returns. It's a great video. I highly recommend it. I think you guys are going to get a lot out of it. And again, don't just watch the first 10 or 15 minutes. I was 155 in. Great point. 204. Another great point. We're talking 2 hours into a video that's 3 hours long, and I just couldn't get enough. Please, just go watch it. Think for yourselves and come back to us. Shoot some comments. Not gonna be the last time we cover this. And if any guys, Space, Ghost, and any guys want to come on and discuss this more, especially if we want to get into the numbers, which you guys know I hate, but that's why I love you guys. Happy to have you. Please do it.
Guys, do one thing for me. After this stream, I actually want everyone to comment where in the world they are from, because it actually really interests me on, is it primarily people from the US and New Zealand that are investing in Rocket Lab at the moment? How much of a reach are they actually getting when it comes to investor mindset? But guys, my name is Liam. I am one of the Hustle Brothers here. This has been great, exploring the likes of Helium-3. We will be diving into who we believe this confidential customer will be. I'm going to keep Chris up all night again tonight, exploring different theories. But guys, my name's Liam. This has been Francisco and Chris. Had a great time talking to you. Make sure to bang that subscribe button. And until tomorrow, we'll speak then.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much.